Mula sa Asian Community Development Council, ito ang FILAM in Focus. Mondays at 12 noon, right here on PHLV Radio.
Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat and welcome to another episode of FILAM in Focus, a program by the Asian Community Development Council wherein we discuss critical issues, challenges, and opportunities affecting Filipino Americans. Ako po ang inyong host, Ado Vice Solano. And this month of April, we at ACDC join our Filipino community in the observance of the Filipino Food Month. So come and join me today to learn and discover the diverse flavors of Philippine cuisine here at the local Filipino restaurant Full House Barbecue. Tara na! So joining us for today to share his knowledge of the Filipino cuisine and contribution to our food culture here in Las Vegas is Chef Alex, which he is the business owner and the executive chef here at Full House Barbecue, and Tita Jocelyn, who is his business partner as well. So, thank you po, Chef Alex and Tita Jocelyn, for having us here in your restaurant. So,
thank you for having us. Appreciate you coming.
Opo, excited to talk to you about how you started the business po. So, what inspired you to start po Full House Barbecue?
Well, first of all, born and raised in the Philippines. My business partners were Filipinos, obviously. And the thought process is bring the Filipino food in the next level. Bring the Filipino food in a matter that people not usually seen, because Filipino food at the time was underrated. I mean, you say, have you had balut? Nobody knows what's balut. Have you had pancit? What is that? All they know is lumpia. Yes. You know, they don't know anything else about other or pancit. Yeah, and they don't know anything else about what other food that Filipino offers. And the goal was, let's bring it up to the next level. And that is what we did, and that we're still striving up to now, is never to be stagnant. We want to be always ahead of the game, top of the trend, and keep the people fascinated about the food. And how if I go to Full House Barbecue and I will eat dinuguan, what makes me think that dinuguan is different than others? Right. And that's what we did. That's what we did. That's why we always think outside the pot.
Oh, yeah. That's good. And Tita Jocelyn, you know, yes, as mentioned by Chef Alex, there's a lot of challenges in opening a Filipino business, especially the restaurant industry. So what were your successes naman po, aside from the challenges or that you have overcome?
Napalago naman namin to kahit papano.
Opo.
Dumami na rin ang nakakaalam ng Full House.
Opo.
Full House Barbecue, itong restaurant namin before, talagang hindi kilala.
Oho.
But ngayon, marami na.
Opo, ang naalala ko po, before the pandemic, we had, you hosted the Kamayan event here at your restaurant. And then, tell me about po yung challenge po during the pandemic.
Talagang, kasi, nung pandemic, 2020, talagang close kami ng for how many months? Walang dine-in for how many months. So, all to go, curbside pick-up lang. And sawa ng Diyos, nag-survive.
Yes, you just have to transition po your way of serving the community. But you made it happen.
Yeah.
That's great po. That's great to know. And then, if Chef Alex, you mentioned, diba, if someone is unfamiliar with food or their first time to be here in Full House Barbecue, what makes the dinuguan unique? But what Filipino dish can you suggest if it's a first time visitor?
I think it's like a first time eating Filipino food. I think it's just, is giving a baby with a new set of palate, you know. So the dishes that I would recommend is the diverse dishes, which is pork belly, crispy pork belly, lechon kawali. It's very diverse. The pancit, the lumpia, The Kare Kare has become famous. A lot of different ethnicity knows Kare Kare now. The adobo, you know. The Sisig is very, very popular here also as well. Lechon pork sisig is very popular. Those are the things that I recommend for the first time eating Filipino food. It's just to take slowly. I remember when I was when I had a Vietnamese boss. I remember then he said, we're gonna go eat Vietnamese food, and I said, okay. I never had one, so let's do it. So we went to the Vietnamese restaurant, and we first had the Vietnamese spring rolls, and it was really mind-boggling when I had that herbs and different leafy vegetables I was eating with their lumpia or with their egg roll, and I was like, I don't understand, because my mind is not set for that flavor, so I don't understand. And also when I first came in the United States, our family friend, brought us to the food truck in California and bought us a Mexican burrito. So we ate that burrito, and I was like, I don't understand what kind of food. I mean, I don't know what it is, because it tastes cumin, cinnamon, cardamom, chili, jalapeno, sour, salty. Yeah, I was like,
The explosion flavor.
yeah, my mind is really, really confused, because I know adobo. That's all, and I was like, and slowly I'm eating it. My boss, back to the Vietnamese boss that I had, slowly we're going back there a couple of times, and I said, oh, okay, now I understand, now I know, and besides that, also doing a search. I'm doing searching. What kind of leaf is this? What is opal leaf? What is the lemongrass, the lime leaf, and those things that I understand at that time. But now, it's like normal now.
So for anyone trying any cuisine, and more particularly Filipino food, is having an open mind and to try it slowly but surely also, like you said.
Yeah, but the Filipino food is very diverse. And for example, I travel a lot, and I do a lot of research about food. When you go to other parts of, like when you eat here in Vietnam, in the U.S. of pho, you see sliced meats. But when you go actually in Vietnam, the pho is not actually sliced meats. It's bone-in chicken, bone-in pork necks, and you're eating pho. So it's different. So that means the restaurants here are trying to accommodate the culture. The culture and the people want it here is different than back home. Like back home, we eat things differently. We eat isaw, we eat, Betamax, right? We eat all those things. And here, people eat it also, but it's just different mindset.
Opo.
Yeah.
And ang pagluluto ay isang sining tulad ng musika, sayaw, pagsusulat. Bakit po sa tingin nyo ang importante to recognize yung Filipino food, lalo na po dito sa US, Tita Jocelyn?
Para makilala, kailangan natin introduce din naman yung culture natin.
Opo.
Kasi para makilala din ng mga Pilipino, hindi lang kasi nandito tayo sa Amerika, hindi lang naman American food. At maraming nakakamiss din ng mga Filipino food na mga Pilipina. Na hindi nila natitikman ang Kare Kare, na masarap na luto ng Kare Kare. Yeah.
Totoo po yan. And to be in a Filipino restaurant and where all Filipinos gather, there's a sense of community po. And then yung tama po, yung namimiss mo yung sa Pilipinas.
Yes.
So, kayo po, bakit niyo po sa tingin importante rin to recognize yung maintaining yung Filipino culture and heritage through food?
I think, honestly, I think food is a language. It's a language that doesn't speak. Because I can go to any part of the world and I will eat their food without them probably explaining to me. But my palate and my understanding and love and passion on food, that is what the food will communicate to me. So in the Filipino food is very quiet, not very, but underrated. But once you eat it, it tells you that we are who we are, and this is what we do, and this is what we have. We offer the things in the world that no one does. So the food will communicate itself to the patrons, and I think the patrons will appreciate that. Sometimes we start, like me when I was in college and when I was in hotel business, they asked me what kind of Filipino food is most popular food that you have in the Philippines. Of course, there's a lot, but what can you stand for? What can you eat? I can eat balut, but can you eat balut? You know what I mean? So I can brag every food from the Philippines, but it doesn't mean it fits your wants. So let the food communicate to the individuals, because I think food is the language that everybody speaks. We can go to Cambodia, to Indonesia, to Italy, to France, and eat all their food, and that food will speak to you. And when you leave their place, it will always remind you and gives you the memories.
So it's an art form.
Yeah. Food is like art and science yan eh. The art and science eh. Understanding the chemicals and all the ingredients and all the part of the meats and part of all the components in it and how it reacts in science or in heat. Putting it together on the plate is the art of it, because ice eats first.
I agree. And then, so what makes our Filipino food unique, po?
Oh, a lot, because we're 7,160 islands, right? Or 7,140 islands.
Low tide or high tide?
Low tide or high tide, right? So right in the archipelago is right in the middle. There's a lot of migration happen in the Philippines. So there's different part of the Philippines. They have different kind of way of cooking adobo. May adobong puti, adobong gata, adobong soy sauce, adobong anato seeds. It's a lot of them, a lot of ways of doing it. What makes it unique? Because we're kind of like a pantry cabinet, or the pantry, right? It's kind of like all the herbs in there. You just make your own dish, like in a different world or different countries, when you eat their food, it could be a little different, but it's same name, but it's very, very slight different. In the Philippines, what makes it unique is you go to Batangas and you eat adobo, it's clear. But when you go to Pampanga, it's brown. But when you go to Bicol, it's white.
It's the use of different ingredients.
Yeah, because it's a different approach. But it's adobo. And why is it adobo? Because adobo means marinade. That is the root or the translation of it. So it could be different, right? But to answer your question is, that's what makes it unique. Like people will say, well, the adobo over there is different than here,
Right.
And I like that. For me, I like that. I like to see different adobos. I like to see different pho. I like to see different pad thai. I don't want to see the same pad thai all the time. So why would I drive 40 miles away if I can drive 2 miles away, the same pad thai anyway, right? So, and that makes me proud of having a unique food of Filipino, because I would drive 40 miles to get adobo with coconut milk, or I would drive 5 miles just to get adobo with soy sauce. That makes it unique.
Okay. And then ano po yung mga, Tita Jocelyn, yung mga traditional Filipino dishes po that you would like to recommend our viewers po and listeners who will visit your restaurant in the future?
Okay, kung first time ka, you're not familiar with Filipino food, we usually recommend tulad ng sabi ni Chef is yung lechon kawali, the crispy pork belly. Yeah, that's the one.
Opo.
And then the sisig, lechon pork sisig, ano din yun, talagang kilala sa amin yun.
Opo.
Mabili talaga yun. And
Chicken
inasal,
inasal.
yeah.
Chicken inasal, yeah.
And if they like peanut sauce, I recommend the oxtail Kare Kare.
Yes.
And we also have the crispy pork Kare Kare. And
Oh.
it's a sizzling plate, and we just pour the
sauce.
The peanut sauce. Yes, yeah.
Oh, that I
mga-
have yet to taste po, yung sizzling Kare Kare.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's your unique approach to the Kare Kare po.
Right. So, the goal is let the food speak to the individuals and say, hey, I'm delicious. Try me.
Opo. I'm surprised po yun sa yung halo-halo po.
Oh,
You
the
made a
flaming halo-halo?
you made a twist to it. What can you describe po what a flaming halo-halo is?
A flaming halo. So here, I went back to the Philippines 3 times. 2015, 2017, and 2019. I traveled not everywhere, but I traveled to the places where they have halo-halo, like famous halo-halo. And I noticed that by the way, it's very, very good. The flavor was very good. But in my head, I was like, how can we make this better? How can we make this more wow? It's wow now, because the flavor was good, the portion size was good, the ingredients were good. Everybody knows what the ingredients are. They just confused about the name of what is halo-halo. But the question is, what makes it more interesting? If I can put a flame on the ice, it will be interesting. You know what I mean? I was like, okay, let's figure it out. But it took me about 6 years to figure it out. A lot of experimenting, a lot of search and research, and we're still, just like I said, we don't want to get stagnant. We still continue to strive better, and we always want to be on top of the trend.
And that's what you mentioned a while ago, is to think out of the box, to make it more interesting, and what makes the Full House Barbecue different from the rest of the Filipino restaurants in the Valley.
Yeah.
And then April is the Filipino Food Month po. And how are you contributing po to yung pag-preserve ng culture aside from offering the Filipino food po and our maintaining our heritage? How are you shaping and more on shaping the restaurant industry here in Las Vegas po in terms of Filipino?
So, the April Filipino Food kind of month is actually my understanding is recognizing the men and women who was farmers and livestock workers, and the reason we celebrate that is to give them the honor, because our food is not beautiful until it really went to the process. You gotta, it's like cooking. When you're cooking, you have to prep it, cook it, design it, plate it. In any part of that process, one failed, the whole process is ruined. The Filipino food is the way we approach this is we say to the people. By the way, all the restaurants here in Las Vegas, they're awesome. I've been every restaurants here in restaurant. I will definitely not recommend any one of them. I think each one has their own identity, and we are just what we offer to to our customers or to our future customers is we are Filipinos. We know how the culture and what is a culture, and we will give that to you. We will deliver that to you. But not only the food. The men and women who that worked in the farm and livestock, they're not working over there just to dig and just to harvest. It comes with an attitude. And us as a Filipino, our attitude is the great hospitality attitude that is always behind it. My food or our food is not going to be great without our love and passion and hospitality with it. It comes with it. It's not cooking it, putting it in the plate, and serving it on the table. It comes with passion, love, communicate, and let the food speak itself. And then when the food spoken, and then the human will back it up. Hey, masarap yung adobo ninyo ah. Kasi po ganito po ang ginagawa namin. And that where the passion comes in.
And it does show, because I've been in your restaurant, even in the past before pandemic, and then when we recently had we dined here. So it does show your passion for cooking with the taste of the food and yung yung hospitality, the way you serve your customers. So I actually saw the teamwork between the two of you as business partners po. So like what you said po, it's you'll be helping out in the back of the kitchen and like vice versa po. So yeah, I do see the passion behind it, and it does.
Yeah, it's she's a very good partner. She's probably the walls of this restaurant. Without her, she was gone for quite some time before. She had some things that she needs to take care, and I was by myself. I'm telling you, I was a man with one less leg. I was crippled. And every day I was like, oh, maybe I need to hire someone and get somebody to do this for me, and I'm very fortunate that my daughter is also in the food and beverage field, and she quit from her job and came over here on help while she was while on her absence. And so we continue, and we were, we're blessed, and we're blessed all the time, and we were just amazed that God always provide. We don't know where it's coming, but He always provide.
I agree with that. And for anyone who's starting a restaurant business or a Filipino entrepreneur, what's your advice po for
What would be your advice?
ano po yung advice ni Tita
Kailangan
Jess?
matyaga sila. Masipag. Yeah, it's mahirap ang restaurant, but masaya ka pag marinig mong compliments ng mga guests na, oh, they love the food.
Yes.
Yeah, yun ang nagpapasaya naman. Pero kailangan mo ng maraming tiyaga, sipag, pasensya. Yeah.
Sipag, tiyaga, at pasensya.
That is the very, very true. Totoo yan. When I was young, my first spread or my first party that I did is for my uncle, and he was a balikbayan from here, from US, and he said, "Hey, I heard that you can cook." I said, "A little bit." I said, "Why don't you cook for my bienvenida?" Was that bienvenida when you're leaving?
Despedida.
Despedida when you're leaving. Why don't you cook for my party before I leave? And I was 8 years old. And I was like, okay, what kind of food do I know? And going back, so I did that, and it happened. And you will see my whole family is very, very happy. And they can't believe that I can cook in my younger age, when I was 8. Of course, I have people around me, the older people helping me to chop here, chop there, but I'm the ones doing the final touch of the food and doing the spread and stuff like that. not knowing that that's what I want to do. I always want to become a pilot. That's what I want to do. And I was like, okay. And going back and looking at it, is the three ingredients on having a Filipino restaurant is passion, dedication, and commitment. I think in any businesses that is a part of it, always be a part of it. But in food and beverage, it will push you to the edge. It will push you to the edge. In the kitchen, 10, 12, 14 hours. You know, you come in here to open, and you're the last person who will close it. You know, culturing the people around you and have their thinking the same way that you're thinking about food, about hospitality, about service. Making the passion is just making what you have in your head and giving it to the team. You know, my greatest chefs that I work always tells me, and all of them, they said, Alex, find a job that you really like and you will never work a single day. It was mind-opening, and I said, oh, that is very true. And that's why probably we don't get tired, and we're tirelessly doing this over and over again. Sometimes we think we're insane. Why we're doing this, you know? Oh, why would just hire somebody to do this? And we sit at the back and drink coffee and eat cereal, you know, or bibingka. But you know, we love to touch. You know, we can't stop doing it. And even though, and that's what we were thinking. I was like, okay, so what happens when we expand? How are we gonna do this? Because we want to touch everything. We're not micromanagers. We just want to make sure that our culture is been delivered properly to the guests.
Ganda po ng sinabi nyo. It's like really about passion and loving what you do, and but it comes with challenges, and that's where yung hard work, perseverance, patience, commitment comes in. So thank you po. Yeah, thank you po for highlighting that, especially for the young ones and even entrepreneurs po who are starting, and make sure you really find what you love. So thank you. Opo. And so, anyayahin po natin ng ating mga kababayan to visit your, restaurant po.
Sure.
Mga hindi pa nakakakilala sa Full House Barbecue, we're inviting you na try niyo po ang pagkain namin dito, at alam po namin na masisihan na kayo at mabubusog pa po kayo. Try our lechon kawale, our oxtail Kare Kare na from the scratch po na ginagawa yung sauce, and our lechon pork sisig, and yung flaming halo-halo ho namin. Kaya salamat po.
Hi, we want to welcome you to Full House Barbecue, and giving us an opportunity for you guys to visit us. And there's three things we will deliver to you: great food, great ambience, and the heritage, history, and the story of the Filipino cuisine. And behind that is the love, the hospitality that we can offer to you guys. So we'd love to welcome you here anytime. We are at 9890 South Maryland Parkway, Las Vegas, Nevada, Suite 19. Looking forward to see you.
And you're open from?
We are open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day except for Wednesday.
I see. Okay, and Chef Alex and Tita Jocelyn, maraming salamat po for joining us today. Ngayong buwan ng Abril, let us continue to appreciate and understand the role of Filipino cuisine and culinary tradition to preserve our culture and heritage. So, I'd like to again to invite everyone who's listening and watching FILAM in Focus to visit Full House here at the Silverado Ranch Center. Thank you again for listening and watching FILAM in Focus. a program by the Asian Community Development Council wherein we discuss critical issues, challenges, and opportunities affecting Filipino Americans. Ako po ang inyong host, Vice Rivera Solano. And abangan po ang aming susunod na episode hanggang sa muli. Salamat!